Thanks, Fox Valley Mall, for inviting us to do this virtual painting for the kids today. I hope that you were able to watch the video that was on their Facebook page before so that you can know exactly what supplies you're going to be needing to make this painting. Of course, the painting is nothing other than a fox for Fox Valley Mall. So I'm going to go over exactly the supplies you need one more time so that you can be all ready to go. Is everybody ready? All right. If you're ready, let's go over what you should have on your table. I hope that at this point your table is covered with some newspaper. It's not a messy project, but you know, if you have a nice table, you want to protect it nicely. All right. So as you know, we are doing a watercolor painting with watercolor pencils. Now, if you don't have watercolor pencils, regular colored pencils or crayons would be just okay. It'll be fine. It'll work. But this painting looks so much better when you use watercolor pencils. Okay, so the colors, once again, look at what you got. Make sure you have all of these. Yellow, orange, red, green, blue, brown, and black. You got all of those? Great. Okay, and then you're also going to need a regular pencil. Make sure the point is nice and sharp. And an eraser. I don't like erasing things, but sometimes we have to erase some of the pencil marks we make. We're also going to be needing some watercolor brushes, just regular brushes, just small ones you have at home, and a cup with some water, clean water, and you are going to be needing paper towels because we're going to be using water. And so just to make sure we don't have too much water on our brushes, we'll use a paper towel to blot that up. Okay, of course, you're going to be needing watercolor paper. Now, if you don't have watercolor paper, you can use any paper that's thick, okay? Not copy paper because it just buckles when you add water to it. You know that. So any kind of thick paper that you have that we can use. Okay, and we are going to be making this painting like this. This is portrait, right? What is this again? Landscape. This is landscape, and this is portrait. You know, when you take a photo at school, you get a portrait. So that's how we're going to be painting today. Did I show you the painting we're making? I forget. All right, so we're making a fox. A fox. Thank you, Fox Valley Mall. Let's get started. First, you're going to find the center of your page right there, and then you're going to go down maybe 2 inches and start drawing a circle, well, more like an oval shape. So draw nice and light, a perfect oval. So let's start with the ears. A dot on the left and on the right, a dot straight up, and then you're going to connect those dots. Make sort of a triangle or a pie shape. Good, have you got that far? Okay. Then we're just going to make the center of the ear another little pie shape. And pie shape. Who likes pies? I know I do. Next up, we're going to make a tiny little smiley right there for the bottom of his chin or her chin. Now let's start on those eyes. Look at the shape I'm making. Sort of a moon shape, like a half moon shape on both sides. Go around wee like this and connect. Look, it almost looks like a lazy S. Lazy S, that's what it looks like to me. Nose, the nose is another little pie shape. And the bottom of his chin. Let's finish the eye with connecting those two. Now the pupils. The pupils are not round, kind of oval shape. And for the highlights, 2 little circles on each one. That makes him look nice and bright-eyed. Good. 2 circles. And just to make the shape of the face, connect it like that. Okay, now let's start with making the chest. See all that white fur on his chest? That's what we're going to try and make over here. Almost looks like he's got a beard. All right, big pie shape. Good. All right, now we're going to make legs. We're going to draw one straight line down and one at a little bit of an angle. Number 11, see that? And then his feet. 1, 2 toes. Other leg. Give me another number 11. Kind of a wonky 11. And his feet. Let's make those toes. Good. Gotten this far yet? Very nice. Now we're going to make his back. Sort of like a small arch. And his tail. Oh man, foxes have really big bushy tails. It's almost like it's like his tail is in front of him. And connect. All right, are you this far so far? Good. Now, let's just erase that part by the nose and by the face, just a little bit. Now we're ready for the next step. Take your Sharpie or permanent marker. Black is always a good color. And then you are just going to outline very carefully all your pencil marks. Around the ears, other ear. Very carefully, just go around the nose. Look while I'm making his face. Make that eye. Pupils. Don't forget those 2 little white highlights. Careful, very careful when you do this. I'm going really fast. If you need to take your time, take your time. You can always pause the video. Okay, look how I'm making little tiny zigzags over here, just so that it looks a little more like the fur. Tiny little zigzags. You can make as many as you want. Make the arch for the back. Bushy tail, again with little zigzags. Zigs and zags. Legs. Very good. How's yours going to look? All right, here I'm making the rest of the tail. Finish up the tail, make it nice and bushy. And the legs. See, I didn't actually follow the lines exactly as I had it drawn. Because sometimes I want to make the toes a little different, or the tail. So how are you doing? All right. Yep, very good. Okay, so now you know at this point your drawing should be outlined with a Sharpie or another black permanent marker, and all the pencil lines should be erased because they kind of, if you don't erase them, you can see them underneath your painting. Usually with watercolor pencils, you can see them. All right, so here's our cool looking fox. The next step, get ready. We're going to start coloring. Ready? You got your color pencils. We're going to start with the dark brown. Dark brown. Where do you think it's going to go? It's going to go on the inside of the ears. Color nice and dark. Other ear. And just the top of the eye. You see, you're not going to go to the bottom of the eye over there, just the top. Leave a little bit of white space. I'll show you why. See, over there, a little white space at the bottom of the pupils. All right, color in right underneath the fur over there to make a shadow. Darker along the edge. And a little bit of brown around the snout. We're also going to get a darker brown on the outsides of the tail. It's just going to all be shading. It's just going to be for darker shade. Colors the bottom of the feet. Look at his feet are more brown than orange. Oops. Hold on to the paper. A little more around the tail. And shadow underneath the fur. Okay, just a note before we continue. If you see what I'm doing over here, I am outlining some areas with darker color because the harder you press on your pencil, the more color you'll get when you paint it. So, and also you can see, I don't have to color every single thing. You'll see why later. It's not like a regular colored pencil drawing. You'll see, it's a surprise. All right, keep going to get that orange in there. Actually, we're going to start with our black. Nice dark black. We're going to color in the pupils, keeping those two little white dots white. And then we're going to go black on the nose. Nice and dark. I'm adding just a little bit of black here and there just to make my brown a little darker. You don't have to do that part. Okay, orange time. Let's get started with the orange. Go around the edges a little darker like I showed you before. And as you can see, you don't have to color everything. Leave that spot white right there around the snout. Everything else, color in the orange. Where I'm going to want to have darker orange, I'm coloring in harder. And where I want it to be lighter, I don't press as hard on my pencil. All right, now the back of the body. Big strokes over here. Once again, you don't have to color every little spot in. Leave a little white space there, and you'll see why. Under the belly is a little darker, the legs are darker. Tail maybe a little bit darker than the rest. You can go over the brown. Color right over the brown, and it'll be a brownish red color. Remember, you can always mix colors to get the color you like. Look over here, I'm going to go with my orange right over the dark brown. Maybe it'll give a better fox-like orange color. A little more around the ears and then the snout. Okay, yellow. Here's my yellow. We're not going to use too much of yellow, but just so that it's not all pure white, we're going to go around his nose. And the important part is at the bottom of the eye. I'll show you why. Remember that picture we looked at that showed what the fox's eye looks like? Beautiful eyes. Add a little bit of yellow here and there on my fur. Okay, this is what you should look like. Nicely colored in. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You see that, right? Okay, now we're going to do some green. We're going to give him a little place to sit on. Grass, maybe. Or a field. So nice and dark underneath him for some shadow and shading. Go behind his back. And now the blue for the sky. Go around his back. I'm going to go around all of the outside and color nice and dark with the blue. The rest of it I'm not going to be so concerned. I'm just going to color nice and dark around the edges. Press hard, keep pressing hard. Once again, just loose strokes of pencil. Does not have to be perfect. If you're using regular colored pencils, not watercolor pencils, then you want to color in more. But since this is watercolor pencils, we're not going to need to have it done perfectly. All right, just a little bit lighter on the outside and dark all around the edges. Here we have it. What do you think? Ready for the next part? Okay, this is the fun part. This is the surprise. Take one of your brushes, just a little brush, dip it in the water, tap, 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 and dry a little bit off and start painting. Start with a dark color. Look at that. I'm just using clean water. Using my brush with just clean water, I'm coloring, painting wherever my colored pencil marks are. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Wherever you put the color down, that turns into watercolor just like magic. Rinse, 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 tap, 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 so you don't have too much water. Whoa! And can you believe it? Isn't that cool? That is one nice looking fox. Just around the snout, a little bit of paint. Start with the dark and go all the way around. More water. And now you just have to color everything with clean water. I'm going pretty fast. You can go slower. You can pause the video and take your time. Color all your pencil marks. And it doesn't have to be perfect because this is fur, and fur is not perfect. Have you seen any foxes lately? The other day I actually heard some foxes. Or maybe they were coyotes, but they were very loud. I live in a place that's very close to a forest preserve, and there's some coyotes in there and some deer, and there must have been at least 4 or 5 coyotes. They were loud. My dog Lola, she's just a itty bitty dog, but she was barking. She does not like the sound of that. Clean water again, and we're going to paint the fur, the white around the chest and a little on the nose. I want to keep the nose nice and white. Have you seen any baby ducks lately? I haven't seen the ducks yet, but I have seen little brush now, because we're doing some detail, making the eye. I've seen baby geese. They are so cute. All right, see how I'm coloring the eye? Look at his eye, how it's sparkly. Rinse, 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 and now we're going to do the black part. Careful now, because use a tiny, tiny brush so that you don't get those 2 white dots. Look, it looks like his sparkly eyes. Adding just a little darker by the eye like that. Make it look more 3D. All right, back to the bigger brush now. I'm going to paint the grass. Look at how that watercolor pencil turns into watercolor paint. I love using watercolor pencils. I hope you do too. They are so fun. You can do anything with your background. It doesn't have to be green like mine. You can make some flowers in there, some grass. You be creative. This is your painting. All right, some sky. Oops, there's a little cut off at the top there, but you can see what I'm doing. Starting with the dark and working my way out to the light part. Make sure you get all the watercolor pencil marks, because you don't want to see any pencil marks. You want to see only watercolor paint. If your brush gets dry, just add some water. Add some water once it gets dry. Look at that. Go around the tail a little bit with the dark blue. And I think I kind of like it. I could play around with it some more, but I'm going to leave mine just like that to dry. What do you think? What does yours look like? Keep going with it. You don't have to stop just because I have. Now look at this one I made earlier. If you're bigger, you can make your lines a little more zigzaggy to make it look more like fur. And also around the cheeks. You see how I added those fur strokes and like that. And also around the tail, I did the same thing. I made it more, it look like fur. Go ahead and try that if you're older. Ta-da! So how did you enjoy painting your fox? I had so much fun. I hope you did too. This is what mine looked like. I am so excited about it. I'm going to frame it. Will you frame yours and put it on your wall of art? I hope so. Thank you for joining me today. And keep checking our Facebook page and also the website, paintingfacesandSpaces.com. There are all kinds of other exciting art projects you can do on there. All right. Well, I hope to see you soon at art camp or at face painting, somewhere fun in the neighborhood. Take care. Bye-bye.